What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Spliced, which is also known as The Wisher. I just randomly found out about this movie. I was browsing eBay and I found this other movie called Slash, which is this random scarecrow horror movie from like 2002 or 2003. And basically, when I found that movie, there was like a deal where some eBay seller was selling that with this Spliced movie. So I'm like, and it was like $8, so like $4 each. So I'm like, yeah, I was gonna get the Slashed movie, or what is it called, Slash. I was gonna get that Slash movie anyways, cause you already know I just like stay watching scarecrow movies. So I was gonna get that movie anyways, and I was like, might as well get the little twofer. So yeah, I got Spliced randomly, had never heard of it, and yeah, and actually it just came on Tubi, like right as like actually I don't know, yesterday was the first day I found it on Tubi. I was just like looking it up, and it was on Tubi. So yeah, yesterday might have been the first day it was on there. But yeah, basically, I just randomly found out about this movie. It's some, direct to DVD horror movie from 2002, and I don't know, for some reason, lately on the channel and just in general, I've been into these random, obscure, direct to video horror movies from like 2002, 2003. So I was like, let me check this out. And actually, I had a pretty decent time with it. I thought it was good for what it was. So yeah, it was a pretty darn cool, pretty darn fun time. So now I'm gonna get into the plot summary for you all. So the story centers around this high school girl named Mary, and she's like obsessed with horror movies, but she gets these bad nightmares, but she's still like interested in horror movies. She's obsessed, and she like sleepwalks and stuff, and it's a whole deal. But anyways, she goes to see this one horror movie, which is, it's called The Wisher in the movie. And then after she sees the movie, all these people that are close to her are getting picked off, killed by the killer from the actual movie. So that is the basic plot summary for you all. I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. I'll get into like more plot details later, but I don't want to like spoil the movie early on. So yeah, that's the basic little premise. And now I'm gonna jump into just some random stuff. So something that I liked and I wanted to point out is there was this one instance where, the main character Mary, she's going to see this movie, The Wisher, and everyone in the crowd is kind of making fun of the movie, and they're laughing. They're like, oh, this is so silly, this is so cheesy, this is schlocky, whatever. And she's just sitting there like super into it. And I thought that was a nice little touch, and I totally related to that, because I don't know about you all, but sometimes when you try to like talk about horror movies to people who are not into them, or you try to show people horror movies and they're not into the genre, they're like, this sucks. They're like, why do you like this? Like, this is terrible. This is cheesy. This is like predictable. Whatever. Oh, there's no story, blah blah blah. Which, I mean, most of the times is true, but I like how like everyone else was just like dismissing it, and she was just like sitting there glued to the screen, like, no, this is awesome. Because I feel like that a lot, where I'm into all these horror movies, and a lot of them are like B horror movies, and people are like, how do you get entertainment value out of that? Why do you like that? That's like dumb. Why don't you watch like a good movie? But it's like, I don't know, there's something about it. Like, if you know, you know. If you're into it, you're into it. It just like like horror movies just hit the spot if you're into them. So I don't know, I kind of like that dynamic where, you know, everyone's dismissing it and she's just like so into it. She's like a fan. Like, I liked how this movie like the followed like a legit horror fan as the main character. So that was cool. That was relatable. What more can I say? Getting into just a super random point here. Uh, Early on in the movie, the main girl is talking with like the school psychologist, and he's like trying to pick her brain, like, why do you like horror movies? Do you like being scared? What's, you know, like, what intrigues you about them? And okay, this this young lady says, yeah, you know, this is straight up. This is real life in the movie. She says this like early on. This is probably 10 minutes in. She's like, yeah, it's like, you know, I get like aroused, and then I was like, what? And I was like, she's not about to say she gets sexually aroused. I'm like, she just means like aroused, like excited. You know, aroused doesn't have to necessarily mean sexually. So then the psychologist proceeds to ask her, like, he's like, do you mean like sexually aroused? And she's like, yes. I was just like, I was like, what the F am I watching? I'm like, let's go. I was like, I don't know, like, is this movie gonna suck? Am I gonna like hate it? But like, from there on, I'm like, let's go. I'm into this. She just randomly says that she is sexually aroused by horror movies. Like, who says that, you know? I don't know. Like, she was a nice young lady, but I don't know about that, being sexually aroused by horror movies. But hey, to each his own. I'm not, you know, I'm not kink shaming on here. Whatever, you know, gets you going, more power to you. But man, I thought that came out of nowhere. I was like, yo, 10 minutes into the movie, you're gonna say that horror movies sexually arouse you? Like, I'm down for the ride. Like, let's see where this movie goes. So yeah, I had to talk about that. And then another thing that I want to point out is, you know, I kind of touched on this earlier, but basically the main character, she's like obsessed with horror movies, watches horror movies every single day, and she loves them. But at the same time, she gets like nightmares from them and is like legit scared by them. And I thought that was a nice little touch, and I relate to that as well because I watch horror movies like on repeat. I watch them non-stop, and like super gory ones, like all these crazy slashers. Like, I'm out here watching Terrifier 2, I'm watching the Hostel movies. Like, I watch some gory stuff. But at the same time, me personally, I'm like extremely squeamish when it comes to real life stuff. And I don't know where like, I don't know, I guess I'm able to like disconnect, you know, and it's like, I don't know, like, I'll think that to myself, like, why do I like these super gory movies if I hate that in real life? Like, in real life, I'm scared to death of needles. Like, you can't even talk about needles in front of me. Like, I can't stand like anything with like needles or people being hurt. Like, I don't know, it freaks me out. I'm like, I gotta look away. Like, even like watching the news, like when you see some, you know, violent stuff on the news, like, it freaks me out. But for some reason, I dig all these super gory horror movies. But I don't know, I think I got into it because I really like the whole like atmosphere of scary movies. Like, I always was like obsessed with Halloween. It was always my favorite holiday, and I liked, you know, like, I would like collect all these like monster masks, and I like decorate my house, and I don't know, there's just like the whole like creepy, spooky atmosphere I'm into. And then it just kind of like anything, it kind of just like spiraled. It was like I went down the rabbit hole where I started out with like Halloween, which is, you know, pretty tame, and then like now like I'm watching like Terrifier 2 and it doesn't even phase me. So I think it's just like, it's like when you're like drinking or like smoking cigarettes, when it's like at first like you'll like really like feel the effect, but then you need more. So I think that's kind of what happens, like for some people who are like more squeamish but want to get into horror, like they like the atmosphere of horror movies. It's just kind of like a natural process. It's like, okay, like I saw this, let me go like a little bit, you know, crazier. Let me see like what else is out there. So yeah, that's how it goes with me with like a lot of stuff. I'll just like go down the rabbit hole. Like even with all these movies lately, I've been finding all these random movies from the same era, and I'm like, oh, that movie was kind of cool. Let me find another one. I don't know. That's how I am with stuff. Maybe other people are like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an insane person. That's probably it, but I don't know. I can't call it. All right, moving on here. Getting into the actual like story. I said I didn't want to you know, spoil stuff early on in the video. I'm not really gonna get into major spoilers. It's not like there's like crazy twists and turns. It's pretty like like a lot of the stuff is pretty predictable, like who the killer is and stuff like that. But anyways, I thought the story was actually pretty darn creative. I was not expecting this movie to have a creative story. I liked the whole idea of, you know, going to see a movie and the killer from the movie starts terrorizing you in real life. That was pretty unique. And then there was this whole this whole focus on like subliminal messages, and they like take out the film reel and there's all these like subliminal messages, and I thought that was a super interesting idea, because you know you kind of hear that, like you hear conspiracies about predictive programming and subliminal messages in media, you know, and I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but how I am with everything is like I don't fully believe a lot of stuff, but I don't fully like not believe stuff. I'm like, just in case, like I'm not really superstitious, but like you won't catch me walking under a ladder, because it's like if that stuff is real, like you won't catch me slipping. So I don't know, maybe they do put like subliminal messages in movies. I don't know, who the heck knows, but I like that angle. I thought that was pretty unique and pretty darn interesting. And then there's this other aspect of the movie where this is like later on, there's a reveal that the main girl, Mary, whenever she says like, I wish such and such, like she'd be like, you know, I wish you would just go away. Like that person would go away, if you know what I mean, like go away forever. So like if she would say she wishes anything, like it would come true, but it would only be if it was like a bad wish. Like at one point in the movie, she tries to test it out by buying a lottery ticket, and it doesn't work. So I thought the whole concept of whenever she says she wishes something and it's like bad, and she'll just do it, like, you know, without thought. You know, people say that all the time, like, man, I wish I had $1 million. Like if she just says that nonchalantly, like the wish will come true. Except not if it was $1 million, because it's only bad stuff. But I thought that was, you know, I thought that was a nice little creative angle as well. So I definitely was into that. So yeah, pretty little creative story, and there was like a lot of different elements in the movie, little aspects of the movie that were pretty creative and fresh, and I didn't expect that. You know, this is like a low budget direct-to-DVD movie. I thought, hey, let me throw this on, maybe it'll be a decent time. You I didn't expect it to have anything fresh going on, so that was cool. Now I'm gonna get into the last part of the review, and that's like I have some negatives, but not too many. But first one is the kills in this are super lame. If I don't know like how this movie's categorized. I don't know if it really is categorized as a slasher. Maybe it's just like a horror, straight up horror movie, or like a horror slash thriller. I don't really know, but there are some kills in this, and they're nothing special at all. It's not like bad like CGI kills, but you don't really see anything, and they're not that creative. So yeah, the kills in this are pretty lame. Another negative is the killer in this movie looks goofy AF. Like he's just got this like caked on white makeup, and it's all crusty. Like he looks like a goofball. Like when I was watching the movie, I couldn't take him seriously. Like I'm supposed to be scared of this guy, this goofball with like the whited out makeup. Like I don't know. Maybe it was like the actor that was playing him, or maybe it was just like goofy makeup. But I'm like, this guy looks like a goofball. Like if this fool was chasing me, I would just straight laugh at him. Like I would just be like, get out of here. Like what are you doing? Go get a new haircut, you gosh darn goober. But anyways, yeah, the killer was super lame looking, and he was not he was not like menacing at all. He looked like a punk buster. But yeah, so yeah, the killer was lame. And then okay, the characters in this super dull. Besides the main girl, I don't remember anyone's name. None of the characters are fun. They're like kind of flat. They're kind of boring. Even the main girl, she's pretty dull and boring. I like her character because I like how she's a horror fan and stuff like that, and her performance was decent. So like I thought her character was cool to some extent, but she was kind of bland. Like all the characters in this were they were like bland. Like I didn't care about any of them. So I mean, you gotta kind of care about the characters in a horror movie. Like then you actually care when they die and stuff. Like I was just like, oh, I don't even know who that is. Like who is that again? Oh, they're dead. Okay. Oh, who is that? Like I don't know. I can't call it. But anyways, yeah, dull, lame, boring characters. And then the last negative. It's not like a huge negative, but I thought like the whole like social dynamic in this movie was weird. Maybe I'm just a simpleton, but I was confused, because initially I thought the main girl was kind of like an outcast and she was being bullied, but then like she's hanging out with all like this group of girls, and I thought that group of girls like wasn't hanging with her, and they were kind of like hating on her and making fun of her. But then like they're friends, and everyone was kind of friends, but then they would like bully her. Like I don't know, the social dynamic in this movie, I couldn't wrap my head around it. I was hecka confused, but that's not a huge negative. But anyways, that's the last thing I have for negatives, and that's pretty much the last main point that I wanted to touch on. So I'm gonna get into my recommendation and head on out of here. So, like I said earlier in the video, this movie is on Tubi right now, so you could watch it for free. I would say I would recommend it, but just you gotta go in knowing what it is. Don't have crazy high expectations. I mean, I did not, because it's a low budget direct to DVD movie. I thought, hey, this is some weird little movie I've never heard of. I personally like just checking out random stuff that I've never heard of before. So yeah, it was I thought it was a fun little watch. But yeah, don't go in with any expectations that this is going to be like a great movie. But I think there is some fun to be had with it, and it's not like incredibly boring. Like I was pretty entertained throughout the whole movie. So yeah, I would say it's worth checking out. But yeah, that's my little recommendation, and that has been my review of Spliced. So I'm gonna head out here. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.